let me ask you something. Are you living or are you just surviving? Are you going through the motions each day, the commute, the job, the bills, feeling like you're on a treadmill working harder and harder, but not really getting anywhere closer to your deepest desires? Do you feel that nagging sense that there must be something more than just clocking in and clocking out, chasing a paycheck that barely covers the essentials, let alone affords you the dreams you once had? Is that the American dream they sold you? Or has it started to feel more like a comfortable cage, gilded perhaps, but a cage nonetheless? I've been there. I've walked that path. For years, I asked myself those same unsettling questions in the quiet hours of the night. Is this it? Is this all there is to my one precious life? Trading my irreplaceable time for a predetermined amount of money, watching the years slip by with true financial freedom, feeling like a distant, almost unattainable mirage. It felt like I was constantly trying to fill a leaky bucket. If you're nodding your head right now, if any of this resonates deep within you, then stay with me. Because this isn't just another get-rich-quick fantasy or some motivational fluff. This is a raw, honest account of why, after diligently exploring every conventional path laid out before me, I ultimately chose the trading lifestyle. And more importantly, why understanding this choice might be the crucial awakening, the paradigm shift you've been unknowingly searching for. Welcome to Mind of a Trader. I'm not here to sell you a magic formula or promise you overnight riches. Those things don't exist, not in any sustainable way. I'm here to share the unvarnished truth, the real journey, the triumphs, the failures, the hard-won lessons that forged my understanding of the markets and, more profoundly, of myself. We're going to talk about the necessary trading mindset, the critical discipline, and the emotional resilience required to navigate this world. If you're ready to confront some uncomfortable truths about yourself and the conventional wisdom you've been fed, and if you're genuinely committed to unlocking your true potential, then you're in exactly the right place. Let's start by looking at the typical investment choices most people consider the well-trodden paths, because I walked them too meticulously. First, there's gold. Gold. Our grandparents, maybe even our parents, often called it the ultimate safe haven. The advice was simple: buy it, stash it away, and it will protect you. And there's a historical allure to it, isn't there? Gold has been a store of value for millennia. When economies falter, when wars loom, when uncertainty clouds the horizon, people instinctively flock to gold. It's tangible, you can hold it in your hand, and it carries a weight of history and perceived security. I remember my own grandfather, a man who weathered some tough economic storms, always kept a few gold coins. He used to say, "Paper money can be printed into oblivion, but gold is constant." There's a certain primal comfort in that. But here's the critical distinction I learned: comfort doesn't necessarily equate to growth, and perceived security doesn't automatically pave the road to the kind of active financial freedom many of us aspire to achieve in our lifetime. Gold doesn't work for you in an active sense. It sits there, a silent, gleaming lump in a vault or a safe deposit box. Think about it. What if you urgently need cash, and at that precise moment, the price of gold is stagnant or worse, has taken a dip? You're essentially at the mercy of the market price at that exact moment. You might have to sell at a loss or wait powerless. So is it truly safe if it can't provide when you need it most without potential loss? Maybe. Is it proactive in building your wealth? Absolutely not. It's a passive store of value, and while that has its place, it won't actively accelerate your journey towards genuine independence. Furthermore, selling physical gold isn't like tapping a button on an app. There are assays, dealer markups, and markdowns. And the question of finding a reputable buyer, it can be cumbersome. And while your capital is tied up in this dormant asset, what other opportunities are you missing? This is the concept of opportunity. Cost a silent killer of wealth accumulation for those not paying attention. Gold produces no cash flow. It pays no dividends, no interest. You're essentially betting that someone in the future will pay more for it than you did. That wasn't the dynamic, engaged path I was seeking. It wasn't aligned with the vibrant, responsive trading lifestyle I was beginning to envision. Then there's real estate. Nobody gets rich without land. The old adage goes, the American dream itself is deeply intertwined with property ownership. A home, a piece of land, a tangible asset that supposedly always appreciates. It sounds solid, dependable, and for many, it has been a cornerstone of wealth. But let's look closer beyond the glossy brochures and success stories. The barrier to entry for meaningful real estate investment, it's astronomical for the average person. We're talking hundreds of thousands, often millions of dollars, requiring hefty down payments and significant debt. This immediately excludes a vast number of people or forces them into levels of leverage that can be incredibly stressful. And liquidity. Try selling a piece of property quickly when you desperately need access to your capital. It's not a swift process. There are realtors, lawyers, inspections, negotiations, and market conditions that can drag on for months, even years. What if the market is down when you need to sell? You either take a hit or you're stuck. I remember a friend who invested in what seemed like a promising rental property in an up-and-coming neighborhood. Then the local factory, the area's main employer, shut down. Property values plummeted. His solid investment became an albatross around his neck, draining him with mortgage payments and property taxes, with no easy way out. He was trapped. Furthermore, the risks are often beyond your direct control. Zoning law changes, unexpected major repairs, bad tenants shifts in neighborhood desirability, interest rate hikes. It felt like trying to steer a massive, slow-moving ocean liner, not the agile vessel I needed to navigate my financial future. It was another path that for me seemed too cumbersome, too illiquid, too capital-intensive to align with the proactive, adaptable trading lifestyle I was seeking to build my financial freedom. And what about the stock market? Stocks, bonds, mutual funds. This is the arena most people think of when they hear investing. It sounds sophisticated, the realm of Wall Street wizards. Buying stocks means you own a piece of a company. You're betting on its future success. That sounds good in principle. If the company grows and prospers, so should your investment. But here's the catch: picking the right stocks consistently is incredibly difficult. It demands an almost encyclopedic knowledge of specific companies, their management, their financials, the industries they operate in, the competitive landscape, economic forecasts, consumer trends, and even geopolitical events. It's a full-time job, and even the professionals get it wrong a lot of the time. I recall buying into a company that on paper looked fantastic. Solid earnings, innovative products, a strong brand. I did my research, or so I thought. Then an unexpected accounting scandal hit, unrelated to the company's actual performance, and the stock price cratered overnight. My investment was decimated not because the business itself was failing, but because of human error or malfeasance far removed from my control. You can be right about the company's fundamentals and still lose your shirt due to broader market sentiment or unforeseen events. And what about market crashes, a global pandemic, a financial crisis? These tsunamis can pull down even the healthiest of stocks. You're a passenger on a ship that can be rocked by storms you can't influence. Bonds generally safer, especially government bonds. But what's the trade-off? The returns often barely keep pace with inflation sometimes. Not even. Is that truly building wealth, or is it just a slow way to tread water to hopefully not lose purchasing power? It's a strategy for capital preservation, perhaps, but not for significant capital appreciation. With all these traditional investment choices, I consistently felt a profound lack of direct control. My money, my financial destiny, still felt largely in the hands of others. Company executives, fund managers, market makers, the whims of the collective. I was still a spectator, not the player I wanted to be. I hit a wall, a point of deep frustration and introspection. I sat down and asked myself, stripped of all the conventional advice and societal expectations, what am I really seeking here? And the answer that echoed back was clear control. Clarity, a direct, unmediated line of sight between my decisions, my actions, and my results. I wanted to be in the driver's seat of my own financial life. And that's when, after all this searching and disillusionment, I truly found and understood trading. Now, to many people, the word trading conjures up images of frantic people shouting in a stock exchange pit, or someone hunched over a laptop nervously clicking buttons, watching flashy numbers dance across a screen, essentially gambling and hoping to make a quick buck. And yes, that's the superficial, often misleading portrayal. That's the surface layer. For me, I came to understand that genuine trading, professional trading, is something far deeper. It's a profound, ongoing dialogue, a dialogue with the market, which is a reflection of collective human psychology. A dialogue with my own emotions, my fears, my greed, my hopes, and ultimately a dialogue with myself, with my discipline, my patience, and my analytical abilities. So why the trading lifestyle? What made it different? Firstly, it offered a significantly lower barrier to entry compared to something like real estate. I didn't need hundreds of thousands of dollars to get started. With a relatively modest amount of capital, a few $1,000s, sometimes even less, depending on the market, a decent computer, and a stable internet connection, I could open an account and step into the global arena. This accessibility was liberating. But more importantly, every single trade, win or lose, became an immediate, potent lesson that no textbook, no seminar, no guru could ever fully impart. I learned to wait. I learned the immense power of patience, because rushing into a trade out of fear of missing out, FOMO, or simply out of boredom, the market has a swift, brutal way of slapping you down, teaching you that ill-considered action is almost always punished. I learned to cut losses and to do it ruthlessly and without emotion. This is perhaps one of the hardest but most crucial lessons in trading. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is always right. Ego is your enemy here. The desire to be right can make you hold on to a losing trade far too long, hoping it will turn around while your capital bleeds away. Protecting your capital before you even think about making a profit, that became my mantra. This is the absolute bedrock of risk management in trading and a core tenet of a sustainable trading mindset. I learned to take profits. Just as fear can make you exit too early, greed is a sweet, insidious poison that can make you overstay your welcome in a winning trade, hoping for just a little bit more, only to watch those profits evaporate as the market reverses. Learning to define your profit target and stick to it is a discipline in itself. And I learned to stop. I learned to recognize the signs of overtrading, of emotional trading, those times when each click of the mouse wasn't driven by sound analysis and a solid trading plan, but by raw, unbridled emotion, frustration after a loss, euphoria after a win, the desperate urge to make it back. The market is an unflinching mirror reflecting your own internal state. It has a brutal yet effective way of teaching you about market psychology, starting with your own. Trading isn't easy. Let me be absolutely unequivocally crystal clear on this. It is not easy. If anyone tells you it is, they are either lying or trying to sell you something. The market doesn't care about your PhD, your fancy suit, your background, how smart you think you are, or whether you're having a good day or a bad day. It is an impersonal force reflecting the collective actions and emotions of millions of participants worldwide. It is a vast, complex, dynamic system, a raw and often chaotic display of market psychology on a global scale. Some days you'll win. You'll feel like a king, like you've unlocked the secrets of the universe. Other days you'll lose. You'll feel humbled, frustrated, maybe even foolish. And trust me, I've lost. I've had those gut-wrenching moments of despair staring at a screen as a trade moves decisively against me, watching my hard-earned capital shrink before my very eyes. Those moments test your resolve like few other things can. I've made all the classic mistakes, and probably a few unique ones too. I've chased hot tips, entered trades purely on hype and the fear of missing out. I've stubbornly refused to cut losses, clinging to the hope that it will come back, only to see small losses snowball into catastrophic ones. I've revenge traded after a string of losses, jumping back into the market, impulsively trying to force a win to soothe my bruised ego and recoup my money, almost always leading to even bigger losses. I've over-leveraged using too much borrowed capital, thinking I was invincible after a few wins, only to be wiped out by a small market move. And those mistakes, those painful, costly, often embarrassing errors, they were without a doubt my greatest and most impactful teachers. Each loss, each misstep forced me to look inward, to confront a brutal, uncomfortable truth. The primary problem wasn't the market. The market simply is. The problem was me, my reactions, my impulses, my lack of discipline, my emotional hijackings, my flawed trading mindset. This is where the real journey of a trader begins, not in mastering complex indicators or secret strategies, but in mastering oneself. This is where your understanding of practical risk management in trading is truly forged. Not in a classroom, but in the searing fire of real financial losses. You learn viscerally that protecting your capital isn't just a good idea or a rule in a book. It's the absolute prerequisite for survival and long-term success in this game. Without capital, you can't play. It's that simple. So what is the reward for enduring this demanding, often humbling learning curve? The beauty of the trading lifestyle, when pursued with discipline and a professional trading mindset, is a unique form of freedom. It's the freedom to work from almost anywhere in the world that has a reliable internet connection. I've traded from a quiet coffee shop in a bustling foreign city, from a peaceful cabin in the mountains, from my own home office. There's no boss breathing down your neck, no mandatory office hours, no soul-crushing commute unless you choose one. You make the calls. You decide when to trade, what to trade, how much to risk. You and you alone own the results, both the wins and the losses, 100%. There are no excuses. There is no one else to blame when things go wrong. And that, my friends, that absolute personal responsibility is where profound personal growth happens. It forces you to mature, to become incredibly self-aware, to develop an ironclad discipline that can benefit all areas of your life. But let me reiterate, this path isn't for the faint of heart. It is not for the impatient soul who wants instant gratification. It is not for the gambler looking for a quick thrill or a lottery ticket win. It is certainly not for those who are unwilling to dedicate significant time and effort to learning, to self-reflection, and to continuous improvement. It demands relentless learning about market structures, about technical analysis, about fundamental drivers, but most importantly, about yourself, your biases, your emotional triggers. It's like training for a high-level athletic competition or mastering a complex martial art. The more you practice, the more you train, the more you realize your weaknesses and the areas that need refinement. Until one day, with persistent effort, you're no longer flailing, no longer reacting impulsively to every market twitch. You're choosing your setups with care, waiting patiently for the precise moment that aligns with your strategy and executing your plan with intention and discipline. This is the essence of a true professional trading mindset and a deep experiential understanding of market psychology. And this is where you begin to cultivate true sustainable financial freedom, which is so much more than just having a lot of money. It's the freedom from the anxiety of living paycheck to paycheck. It's the freedom from self-sabotaging financial behaviors. It's the freedom that comes from knowing you have a skill that can generate income independently of a traditional job. It's the freedom that comes from emotional regulation, from not being a slave to your fear or your greed when making important decisions. So why do I still choose trading after all these years, after all the ups and downs, the brutal lessons, the sleepless nights analyzing charts or replaying a losing trade in my mind? I choose it because it's real. It's one of the most honest professions on earth. There's no faking it. The market is an unflinching mirror constantly reflecting back to you who you are under pressure, how you handle uncertainty, how you manage your innate human tendencies towards fear and greed. It teaches you profound patience in a world that increasingly screams for instant speed and constant stimulation. It teaches you deep humility, especially when your ego starts to swell after a winning streak. The market has a way of bringing you back down to earth very quickly. Most importantly, it forces you to strive for mastery over your inner world, your trading mindset, because without that internal control, external success in the markets is fleeting at best. Unlike gold, trading is active. You are a participant, not a passive observer. Unlike real estate, it's highly liquid. You can typically enter and exit positions in seconds. Unlike relying on traditional stock investments managed by others, the control, the decisions, and the responsibility are largely, if not entirely, yours. Trading is a skill, a craft meticulously built, layer by layer upon a foundation of knowledge, discipline, emotional intelligence, and relentless self-improvement. It's an asset that once developed, no one can take away from you, regardless of market conditions or economic shifts. These are not your typical passive investment choices. This is a path of active engagement and profound personal evolution. If you're hearing this and something deep inside you is stirring, if it resonates with that part of you that yearns for something more than the conventional script, if you're tired of being a passive passenger in your own financial life and crave the steering wheel, if you desire not just financial gain, but genuine personal growth, and you are willing, truly willing, to put in the hard, consistent work, then trading might just be a path worth exploring for you. It's not about getting rich quick. It's about getting real quick. Real with yourself, real with your capabilities, and real with the unyielding nature of the market. Did this story, this journey hit home for you? Did any of those struggles, those frustrations with traditional paths sound painfully familiar? If it did, do me a favor and smash that like button. Let the YouTube algorithm know that we're talking about real issues, real challenges, and real solutions here. It helps others find this message. And more importantly, much more importantly, I genuinely want to hear from you in the comments below. What was your biggest aha moment, your personal wake-up call, when you realized that your old financial path, the one you were perhaps diligently following, just wasn't cutting it for you anymore? Or if you're new to the idea of trading or are cautiously considering it, what's the one fear, the one question, the one doubt that's holding you back from exploring it further? Let's make this a real conversation, a genuine dialogue. The Mind of a Trader channel and community is all about supporting each other on this challenging but incredibly rewarding path. Share your thoughts. You're not alone. If you think someone you know, a friend, a family member, a colleague, needs to hear this message, needs this perspective, please share this video with them. Don't let them wander lost in the financial wilderness, making the same mistakes perhaps I or even you once did. A little guidance can go a long way. And finally, if you're truly ready to go deeper, if you're serious about forging that resilient, disciplined trading mindset, if you want to understand the nuances of market psychology, not just intellectually, but practically, if you want to explore the essential principles of risk management in trading that protect your capital and your sanity, and ultimately, if you aspire to build a trading lifestyle that can lead to lasting financial freedom, then I invite you to subscribe to Mind of a Trader and be sure to hit that notification bell. I'm committed to sharing my ongoing journey, my insights, my mistakes, and the strategies that have helped me not just survive but thrive in navigating these treacherous yet immensely rewarding waters. We can't choose the market conditions on any given day, but we can absolutely choose how we prepare for and navigate our path through them. This isn't a perfect ending with a neat little bow, because this journey for me, and perhaps now for you, is dynamic and ongoing. In upcoming videos, I'll dive deeper into specific topics, like how to meticulously build a robust trading plan that fits your personality and goals, practical techniques for controlling your emotions when the market is inevitably testing your psychological limits, and the small, consistent strategies and habits that can make a huge difference in your long-term survival and success as a trader. Thank you for your time, for your attention, for your patience. The very same patience that trading itself so rigorously teaches. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, trade smart, be disciplined, and continue to strive to live free.